So, welcome to Two Geese in a Pod, and today you'll notice that me and Harry are both repping the Tottenham Hotspur jerseys. So why is that, Harry? England have just won 2-0 against Germany. It's coming home, and we're sat here in Tottenham shirts.
Or so they say. Big news, isn't there? Big news. We've finally appointed a manager.
Exactly. It's got to a point where Spurs signing a manager is bigger than it coming home. Like, you know, who even gives a shit?
I know, it wasn't like it almost slipped through everyone's all the news and everything. I'm surprised it was even announced, to be honest.
I'll be honest, I've kind of forgot about like England and everything just because Spurs have now got a manager. It kind of just, I don't really care anymore.
Yeah, all right then.
So,
love the sarcasm.
In case you haven't realised, we have just appointed Nuno Espirito Santo. What a name, by the way.
He's definitely practiced that.
Yeah, I have actually had to watch a tutorial on how to pronounce his name. But, well, what's your thoughts on that? Straight away, initial kind of impression, because I know there's been a few mixed views around us getting him as our manager.
It's a hard one, really. I'm not too disappointed. I'm not too pleased, to be honest. I think there wasn't many options, really, was there? Let's be honest. I mean, there's not a great deal of managers who want to be the manager of Spurs right now, and B, I mean, who wants to be manager? Especially because they've put him on a 2-year contract, which seems as though
that was
he's
a bit
just
strange.
Waiting for Pochettino
yeah, that's exactly.
To be back.
They were like, let's bring in this guy, see what he does, and if not, we'll just get Poch back. Because let's face it, he's going to come back at one point or another.
Yeah.
Like, we are literally just holding out until Poch comes. But I have a little bit of a different standpoint. But before I go on to my thoughts, because they're more important than yours, Tottenham Hotspur, this whole manager saga, what a mess. Like, I compare us to being that kid in prom who was asking out all the worldies, and then gradually, little by little, they got rejected. Their ego just got reduced to nothing, to the point where he has to go for the fat, fiery Italian bird, you know, possibly a little bit racist and, yeah, not a very attractive option. And then suddenly, you know, your mates kind of talk you out of it, and you end up with a decent bird, you know, kind of someone that you're not embarrassed to walk to prom with, but you're also not with.
The other one might have had a nice personality, though.
Gattuso did not have a good personality. Although, for the memes, it would have been incredible.
I
just
think
every
it would
game,
have been amazing.
It would just be sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
But I'm weirdly quite optimistic about Nuno Espirito Santo. I'm going to keep saying it now, just because I know how to pronounce it. I bet you can't pronounce it.
I didn't even know there was more than just Nuno, to be honest. I thought that was his first,
Nuno.
last, and middle name.
So I've written notes as usual, because I actually do my research, unlike you. And, well, I've lost a page for a start, which is never a good sign. But let's talk a little bit about Nuno's history. And first of all, I want to point out how similar in regards to the timing and the style of manager it was to when we assigned Pochettino. So if you think back to Spurs were a laughingstock. We're a laughingstock now. We had a dodgy Portuguese manager who used to manage Chelsea. We have a dodgy Portuguese manager. You remember Jose? He was not so long ago.
Who is Jose?
I listen to him on TalkSport every morning. I do actually quite like Jose, but
yeah, he's a character, isn't he? Let's be honest.
And we're looking at, in terms of what Pochettino achieved at Southampton and what Nuno has achieved at
Wolverhampton
Wanderers. I thought it was Warriors. Was it Wanderers? They should change
hold on.
Warriors sounds better.
Wolverhampton Warriors.
Yeah.
You thought it was that this whole time?
Well, now you've said it, I'm like, yeah.
That is horrendous, mate. I thought you liked football.
I do. Well, everyone just calls them Wolves. Like
Nah, I'm playing with you. It's actually Warriors.
No, it's Wanderers.
No, it's
I know
not.
it's Wanderers. So, if you look at what he achieved at Wolverhampton Wanderers, and what Pochettino achieved at Southampton. They both, I think, at the first time of asking, got them into the Europa League, and at the time, was that an expectation? It was a surprise. You didn't expect them to reach that. They both have also, and I think you can really distinguish a good coach from a good manager in the way they improve the players they've got. So, look, take Jose, for example. Jose Mourinho is a shocking coach. He has to have the players around him. He can't make them better. Okay, maybe you could argue Harry Kane, but if you gave...
Jose Mourinho?
Yeah.
What do you mean you could argue Harry Kane? Harry Kane didn't play better under him.
Well, he changed the way he played. And
yeah, but I wouldn't say improved.
You would say, okay, maybe not improved.
He scored more goals in previous season than he did last season. Or probably it's very similar. He scored the similar amount of goals for the last 5 seasons. So I think
there was a considerable change in his creativity, for example.
Creativity, yeah.
That was just down to how Jose Mourinho made him play, and maybe Kane was always capable of that. But my point stands in that I think that Jose needs good players. Managers like Nuno and Pochettino have made players better.
Yeah.
Pochettino, you can list how many players do you think he made better? Well, Wanyama, he made him better.
Musa Sissoko.
The likes of Callan Chambers, Luke Shaw, potentially all right minus this season with Luke Shaw, but they played their best football under Pochettino.
Yeah.
Jay Rodriguez. And then you can definitely see similarities between that and Nuno's Wolves team. The likes of Conor Cody was a reject of Liverpool. Matt Doherty, which, by the way, he must be counting his lucky stars. Yeah. What a shocking signing. And that he's just going to end up playing him at wing back and he's just going to suddenly perform again. But that's a good thing.
But that's a good thing. So I was really excited about the Doherty signing. And
all of a sudden, for once,
he was awful. He's been absolutely appalling. He hasn't done one good thing. Maybe this will change things around and maybe he can start playing better.
When we signed him, I thought, wow, this is refreshing. We've actually signed a Premier League proven player. No Nkudus from France, Ng's from France. We've actually got a player who can potentially perform. But no, didn't happen for him. But hopefully, he performed his best football under Nuno. So, yeah, bloody hell, we're getting bored. We bored, mate?
Yeah, he bores me to death.
Bores me to death, Get you on a podcast, and this is the repayment I get. So, yeah, do you have anything really to add in terms of the style of manager he is?
Yeah, no, I would say, you did cut me off a little bit, I've got to say, but no, I think he's not necessarily a terrible signing. I can see what you mean by the similarities between him and Poch. I think they are very similar. They came from very similar positions. And he's done a good job at Wolves at the end of the day. I respect Wolves as a team a lot more now than I did 4 years ago. And he's brought them up a lot, so fair dues to him. So you never know. It could be an amazing signing, appointment, but we'll have to see, won't we?
I also think that, look, everyone, when Wolves joined the league, obviously promoted club, and they took the league by storm. You were talking... One thing, Spurs have never been good in big games. Nuno's good in big games. I think over his time, he's beat Tottenham, not hard, but he's also beat the likes of, Manchester City. I think he's had a few good results against Man United, possibly even Liverpool. No one wanted to play Wolves.
I do have to say that Wolves beat us for the first time last year, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, no, they actually... No, we
drew for the last, Yeah, I swear there was...
No, they definitely have beat us in the first season. They went up, I think, or it's been all draws. Either way, the point stands that no one wanted to play Wolves. They were difficult to play against. And I think that the reason Nuno's ended up joining is because of the connections he has with Paratrisi. He wasn't our first choice, by all means. We were looking at, obviously, fantasy signings like Conte, Nagelsmann, who would have been, fantastic. But I think Paratrisi's come in and has looked at the way Nuno plays. And to be honest, I always thought that this was a no-brainer. He was a safe option to to have at the club. So, yeah, he was also very adaptable. He's played different formations over the years. At Valencia, he had a very good spell. It was a very short spell, but he finished fourth, beating Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, and I think he drew with them as well. And
How long was he at Valencia?
I think it was a year. And this is the next point I want to go on to. I think that it really shows how good a manager or coach is when you look at the club and how the club performs when they leave. So look at how, like Jose Mourinho, he left Chelsea. Chelsea were fine. Chelsea were a good club. It was Jose's fault. Jose was his own undoing because he manages to annoy a lot of players. On the flip side, look at Pochettino when he left Spurs. The club was on a complete freefall. So what does this have to do with Nuno? Well, Nuno
But then,
left
do you not
Valencia.
think that Spurs were on a complete freefall while he was in the club as well? Because
You could
it wasn't
potentially
looking good
argue
for the
that.
season before.
But I think that was just for a lack of backing. The players got old. I don't think it was, we saw what Pochettino was capable of when he built and developed that squad. And you can't blame it on him if the club haven't backed you. You've got an aging defence. He could only perform so many miracles, and he got us to a Champions League final.
Fair
Now,
enough.
what has this got to do with Nuno? Well, Nuno was at Valencia, and much like Tottenham Hotspur, it was a complete mess for in the background of the clubs. The background workings of the club were a complete mess. And when he left, they signed Gary Neville. Do you remember what a period that was? And Valencia had about 3 years where they were awful for the size of the club.
I'm sorry, I can't stop thinking about Gary Neville's interview.
What one?
I know, was it Gary Neville or Phil Neville you had the interview?
I think you're thinking of
Spanish.
David Moyes, was it?
It was one of the Nevilles.
One of the Nevilles.
They took over at like Valencia or someone like that.
Yeah, it was Gary Neville.
Yeah, and he had an interview and a Spanish interview.
What, he tried to speak in Spanish.
I swear. I'm sorry. Carry on.
There was a great... I do love it how a lot of English managers and English players go abroad and they suddenly start picking up the accents. Like, think about, do you remember Joey Barton, where he started talking in a French accent? And
that was so funny.
and Steve McLaren, he managed in the Netherlands, and he started talking with a
oh my god, that is embarrassing.
with a Dutch accent. It was like, yeah, maybe we go 2, 3. That was a very good Dutch accent. But most recently, Jadon Sancho talks with a German accent. If you listen to some of his interviews in the Bundesliga, it's like, yes, I think, yes. I'm not very good at accents.
You're not very good.
I am good at
the
Jose,
German. Not very good at the German accent.
Yours is French. So, yeah, I think that's a good point to make. Prior to Valencia, he managed. He's proven to achieve things at clubs which aren't. What am I trying to say here?
That aren't favourites.
Yeah, exactly. So you've seen it at Wolves, you've seen it at Valencia, and then before that he managed, I think they're called Rio Alves, a small Portuguese club, and he got them in the Europa League. They were contending for the top 4 in Liga NOS. So, look, all in all, I think it's a good appointment, a safe appointment, and you never know where we can go. It's a weird transition period. And I think that if we bring in the players, Paratrisi, we've got to trust his ability to pull off transfers. I said to you in the last video that my biggest credit to Paratrisi is not his managerial appointments, but his appointments of players, particularly on free transfers. So,
I think free transfers are definitely a way to go. And obviously, I don't think that it's great taking a player who obviously isn't being favoured by another club, but at the end of the day you can get some world-class players for free. Cavani, he was free, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Ibrahimovic, he was free at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's when he
There's
joined Man United.
a number
as well.
of players that you can pick up who on free contracts, and they're steals really. At the
And
end
they
of the
still
day.
do a job. Like it does. What we're seeing is a weird trend at the minute where old strikers are still proving that they have a worth to perform in the Premier League. You know, not many people would have taken Edison Cavani. Not many people would have taken Fernando Llorente when we took him, and they both proved that they could perform on the biggest stage. So
Fernando Llorente was an interesting one.
he did a job. He
But
did a job.
He did a job.
You know, just that big target man, professional, and had the experience to perform. And he, all in all, got us into the Champions League final, him and Moira.
Yeah, Moira. But at the end of the day, he contributed. So, yeah, no, you're all right.